Hello, friends. We are back for some more East Texas University using the Savage Worlds rule set. East Texas University, the sort of genre or setting, sitting atop Savage Worlds Adventurers Deluxe Edition. Thanks to Phil Cho for his DeviantArt postings. Take from them a fair amount of the little character portraits I like to put together to represent various people in and about Pinebox, Texas. Savage Worlds brought to us by Shane Hensley and Clint Black, gentlemen. Thanks again for your hard work. And atop of the Savage Worlds, of course, ETU, brought to us by Preston DeBose and Ed Wetterman. Duff over at Prater's Rejects, continuing to put these out to the YouTube universe for general consumption. Appreciate that. And anyone interested in looking at some online games being played, be it 5E, Savage Worlds, occasionally Aliens, Kids on Bikes, uh, pop over to Prater's Rejects and see if there isn't a game there that sort of satisfies that itch to see some real fun play online. Corey, running this original East Texas University campaign, had to hang it up for a little while. We blew the dust off of it and decided to keep going with it. Our students are now sophomores, just after Christmas break. In fact, right around that St. Patty's Day time of the early semester, the early spring semester. And to my players, thanks an awful lot for your artwork. I did go back in our Discord and I see some of the images that were posted. I try not to perturb Discord in the middle of a game. Sometimes if I try to go over and see what you all are posting, I come back only to find things have gone awry, where we've resized the little cells that our image feeds, our camera feeds live in, or weird ordering of the stack, overlays sitting behind fantasy grounds and whatnot. So I tried not to do that, but I did catch up and saw a nice image of a little lighter and an image of a 70s prom outfit, a guy in like a kind of a leisure suit prom tux.
Shep's Valentine's Day outfit.
Gave me a little bit of a chuckle, and as well as there was the classic meme of the little girl right at camera front, smiling at the camera while a house bursts into flames behind it. And, no meme text necessary. That's just a fun meme. We're trying to get together as often as we can with various aspects of our real life, our work, our jobs, our family, our school, other scheduling challenges. We do try to get together and play just about as often as our schedules will permit. Sometimes, with four people, it can be a little bit challenging, but anytime we can identify a certain night where we can play, jump at it. Even if we're only going to get 2 or maybe 3 hours in, it's still good to see these folks. They're more than my players, they're my friends. We've been together for more than a couple of years now, and it's always good to catch up and play some East Texas University. East Texas in Pinebox, sitting right inside the Texas border between eastern Texas and western Louisiana, right to the west of this area called the Big Thicket, this large, diverse area of swampland and critters, flora, fauna, all sorts of skeeters and insects, and maybe 1 or 2 creatures of legend, be it a giant boar named Hogzilla, or various chupacabra and other legendary creatures. This area of Pinebox sits right sort of at the conjunction of, the Mexico to the south with its rich legends and lore and folklore, and Of course, the American, the Native American Indian tribes, um, sort of to the west and to the northwest of this area, providing their, the listed deities, the jackal and the raven, and all those myths. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the folklore coming up from the islands, Antigua and Aruba, and Jamaica, the classic island myths that come to us through New Orleans, zombies and rituals and papashangas and um, various uh, death rituals. So here we are, right in the middle of that, at a nice little sleepy college. Students pursuing their second semester of their sophomore year. When last we played, we were at the Pizza Barn for a big St. Patty's Day gala. Green and white balloons taped and tied to the walls and the ceiling. Bright green and white crepe streamers looping around the area. A live band on the dance floor. A jury of robots, interspersed with um, a gentleman of Gaelic descent playing his fiddle, rousing tunes with an Irish flavor to them. Um, a barbershop quartet belting out "Oh Danny Boy," always a favorite at this type of shindig. The party did manage to espy this little this little man, this short man that appears to be a worker of some type, a laborer, strong, gnarled hands, um, veiny forearms, neck, dressed like a leprechaun. Probably an outfit he gets out, dusts off, and puts on once every year for such an affair. Um, he was chatting with a young woman. They went out to grab a smoke. The area out back of the pizza barn was roped. It was sort of cordoned off for an outdoor smokers lounge. Um, and then it was determined that they were gone. I believe Shep summoned his great 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 aunt, the spirit of his tante, and she did provide them with a little bit of guidance. There was a very sad ghost of a red-headed girl, this Kelly King, who disappeared 1 year ago to the night, to the day, at such a similar pizza bar and extravaganza. Said her text message to her roommate was, "I've gone to find my pot of gold," with sort of a smiley, winky face, and she was never heard from again. So the students are driving along the highway up to the Rainbow Ranch, which is where their friend, fellow roommate, and fellow troublemaker, Erica, determined by talking to some of the other patrons that this little man, who was quite the dancer, quite the performer, the ready smile and an even more ready wit, keeping those mostly young females at his large round table uh, in stitches, and of course well plied with pitchers of green beer and pizza barn pepperoni pizzas with the pepperonis stamped and cut into the shape of little shamrocks. Um, so the party is driving up the road. I believe, Shep, you're driving. You are not drinking. I believe you drank Mountain Dew or Sprite or something like that. Maybe a fruit punch of some type.
Yep.
While your two friends and others, perhaps, were having a little bit more of a festive evening.
The girls are all at wine o'clock.
Yes, yes.
That's so.
Someone provided a pitcher of beer.
The pizza barn it's in full swing. very busy, packed. And one of your friends who works there did manage to sort of snag you one of the reserved tables where you enjoyed some pizza and did a little line dancing, a little two-stepping, listened to the live music, enjoyed the fiddler, and kept a curious eye on this little man. This guy whose name is Michael, but he goes by Mickey. See if I could pull up a little image. Still getting back into the swing, running these fantasy grounds games. I was elated to overcome the gremlins in my laptop from the last Fantasy Grounds update that took away my precious blackboard background, which I am just so fond of. It took some doing, it took some hand poking at some XML files and testing this, that, and the other, and what have you, trying to get it configured just right to coerce Fantasy Grounds to obey me. And while I'm not wont to tempt these gremlins and imps and homunculi and mephits that inhabit, the Ethernet and the weather systems around us, I am at once tempted to just say that I'm glad I got it working again. So let's see. I'm looking for sort of a leprechaun kind of an image. Let's go to custom personalities and yeah. I'll share this picture of Michael, who goes by Mickey. And it was one night. My fiance and I were watching an English movie on BritBox. It was one of like a 4-episode mystery, and it's something like the Curiosities of Mr. Witcher, not Witcher like the video game, but Witcher with a Whicher. A very nice sort of turn of the century, horse-drawn carriages, oil lamps along the streets, cobblestones, and this is one of Witcher's assistants that appeared in just one of the episodes. But I looked at him, I'm like, I got to find a screenshot of that actor because this really personifies the image of how I view Mickey to appear. So there's one image, and yeah, got another one. Don't know the actor's name, but I'll just say it was The Curiosities of Mr. Witcher. Good show. Pity I can only find 4 episodes of it, but yeah, this gentleman here. So you're all driving down the road. What do you? You're heading towards the Rainbow Ranch. Shep, you're driving. I'm curious as to how you are driving. I'm imagining your thumbs are at 10 into a clock. You're going the speed limit, maybe 2 miles over. Others are helping with their, yeah, we're going to have to make a right, on this, other highway to get out to where this Rainbow Ranch is. And I think it know it is where it is. And Erica hastily scribbled out a little map on the back of a placemat / sort of children's coloring page. And it wasn't her best artwork, just a couple of lines and words, but kind of tells you the highway numbers and approximately what was it? It was like 10 or 12 or 15 miles out the road before you're supposed to start looking for that Rainbow Ranch sign. So Shep, you're driving along.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to the Rainbow Ranch.
Go to the
after
Rainbow
all the
Ranch
ghost
and
stuff.
Much to your chagrin, you see the telltale cherry tops, the red flashing with blue lights of a cop car, seemingly coming from a distance behind you but accelerating right onto your bumper. And he hits the
Oh,
siren.
dang.
Speeding, are we?
I would imagine
Speeding.
I would imagine that you find a nice
No
stretch
such thing.
of gravel. And these Texas highways, there's like sort of the way that you're going right now. There's like a northwest bound lane. There's a southeast bound lane. One lane going, one lane coming, and there's like a broad area in the middle, which is separates, demarcates those two lanes, and also makes the road a little bit wider for trucks that may need to turn around. But there is also sort of a grassy shoulder on either side. So in my mind's eye, I see you, Shep, as sort of slowing down, turning on your right turn signal, and coasting to a polite stop just off this highway.
Hmm.
True or false?
Yeah. Um, I would probably, as soon as I saw the lights heading up behind me, I'd have started to pull over to let them go by. And just because we've had such really good luck with cops,
Hmm.
Have we? Oh wait, no, we don't.
I'm
Haven't.
making sure to get to have it to where I can get back into drive really, really quickly.
Okay. You pull over, come to a stop, much to your chagrin. The police car does not fly by you. However, it pulls in behind you, sort of parks at that little angle so that that bright spotlight just reflects right into your rearview mirror, just blinding you. And you see a man's figure approaching the side of the car. Comes up next to you. How would you like to react?
Shep, were you speeding?
Window down or window up? Would you like to have your registration and license in hand, or dig for it if asked?
The registration and license are my license is in my wallet, but the registrations and the insurance paperwork are in the glove box.
Very good.
The
Being a
um,
good driver.
hey, it's just what my parents taught me.
I know, right?
Proof of insurance always there. Click.
Comes
Right.
up comes up next to you with a flashlight in hand, just shines it in, gives you all the once over, and says, "License and registration."
I hand him my license and get tell him I have to get the registration out of the glove box.
Understand?
So I get the registration out, hand him that.
Okay.
Is it somebody we recognize? After all, we have been at the police
We've been
station quite a
arrested
bit.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
once or
We've
twice.
I think you,
arrested.
you've, I
We've
think you've,
never been arrested.
Erica has.
I think you've,
Sophia, have you been
I think
arrested?
you've killed most of the police that you've dealt with so far. No, that's
All
not.
the really
Cheated
bad.
lawyer?
Yeah, that's not true. His name plate
What is
says
the
says
Hey,
weirdo guy?
we saved the one cop's son.
yeah, yeah. It says Gutierrez on it. He's a younger guy. Um,
Uh,
he's looking at the registration. He's looking at the driver's license. He looks at you, just basically making a visual match, and says,
What happened?
"Trying to think what sort of indicators may be on your person or in your truck easily visible that would identify you as East Texas University students. Do you think you would have like an ETU decal like that raven's head on the back of one of your sliding windows, or a parking registration? Y'all live off campus, but do you think you would have a parking placard on your rear bumper?
There would probably be one of those parking stickers on the windshield.
Oh, hanging. Do you have like a little thing hanging off of the rear
Mirror,
view mirror
like a little keychain with the
Yeah.
logo.
for student parking?
And I mean, I'm sure Shep is in his East Texas hoodie.
All right. Well, I think a smarts roll for this young officer Gutierrez passes. And he's like, "Oh, students from the university. Um,
Hmm
Yes, hello.
what sort of activities have you all been up to this evening?"
Just
We were at the pizza barn listening to some music.
It's a big party thing happening. It's been great.
there's so many people there, and
Yeah.
I to the opposite side of this boy cop man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just gonna go over this way now.
Sure. Well, the college is back that way, and the pizza barn's back that way. Pinebox is back that way. Most civilization is back that way. Why y'all heading out this way?
Party.
The party.
It's the after party.
Well, now we're just snitches.
Yeah,
What?
you tell he's sort of shining around. Maybe puts the flashlight to the back of the sort of behind the seat, that area where those two little bench seats fold out. It's probably looking for a bottle of hooch rolling around or something like that.
Hmm
Having come up empty, he's looking around. He's like, "Oh, okay, let me just check this registration right quick. It appears everything is in order." And he asks you, Shep. He says, "Have you been drinking tonight? A beer at the
No,
pizza barn?
nope,
Not even one."
no.
One.
Oh, I have been.
He raises
Sophia
As you
has
can
been
see,
drinking.
my roommates
She's
have.
visibly tipsy.
he raises an he raises an eyebrow. Um,
I am the designated driver.
uh,
He's my best friend tonight.
so that's it's very very responsible of you. And he turns after saying, "I'll be right back with your paperwork." He takes about 3, maybe 4 steps alongside your truck when this beat up pickup truck comes flying down the highway, the same
Oh dang!
direction that you were coming. This thing is probably it's probably doing about 105, you imagine.
Oh,
Almost blows the door off your pickup truck.
oh my
Almost
Uh,
god!
blow. I mean, these sheriff's deputies. I imagine they wear those broad brimmed caps with the little leather strap that goes across the back of the head to keep it from falling off. But he just can't help but hold on to that with one hand as this
Jeez.
truck goes just roaring past you. And it's Erica's.
um,
She shouldn't be driving. She's been drinking.
Dang it! I thought Erica was with us. She drove over on her
she's
own.
supposed to be on going to the hospital.
He says, probably lets out a string of epithets that I won't relate here.
She
He comes,
probably even recognizes her truck.
he goes 3 or 4 steps back, hands you your information, your driver's license registration back, and he says, "Drive safely. Have a good night." And
Thank
he
you.
Uh huh.
and
You too.
he
Yeah.
bolts back to his squad car, jumps behind the wheel, peels off that shoulder, spraying dust and debris and pebbles behind him, fishtails a little bit, and goes off in rapid pursuit of the truck.
Uh, be careful. She doesn't can't control that thing sometimes.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
okay.
It's a
To
really
I
good
run
thing I
we
wasn't driving tonight.
we tried to warn you.
You know,
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how he decided he was going to come running up on us.
He was probably bored.
He wasn't at the
Wasn't
usual
expecting an
speed
Erica.
traps side places. So,
Probably not as much for
that's
speed,
too
although as an
funny.
excuse, it's reasonable. If you're right at that almost 10 miles over, maybe a little more, probably looking for excessive drinking. Probably, it's
mhm.
that night of the year, you know, where there
My
are
man's trying to reach a quota.
a lot of parties, a lot of people out of bars partying it up.
Uh,
So not unreasonable to think that it was more, you know, hoping to find some, an open can of beer or an open bottle of hooch or something like that, or that smell. When you open up the window, that smell of alcohol. Okay, so I guess you pull out onto the road. That police
Mhm.
cruiser's lights disappear into the distance.
Look back behind just to make sure there's not another cruiser coming along.
Okay, there is not. In fact, this is a fairly desolate stretch of highway. And yeah,
Dang.
you continue towards the Rainbow Ranch. About,
Mhm.
5, 7 minutes later, off in the distance, you do see those telltale flashing lights and that same sort of cantered stop, although this stop seemed to be a little less controlled than the other. And you see Officer Gutierrez standing alongside Erica's truck, pointing and yelling and waving his hands. Um, and you can kind of see Erica's profile. She's just smiling sweetly at the officer.
Oh my god. There she goes.
And as you drive by, the speed limit will say it's 55 miles an hour, 60
Mhm.
miles an hour. You're probably doing between 60 and a half and 61 miles per hour. You look, and she gives you just the briefest nod as you drive by. And this officer looks to be just, God, tearing her a new one, just gesticulating and frothing a little bit at the mouth. You imagine, you almost hit me, and you almost hit my cruiser driving by this high rate of speed. But
Oh
what
my
are you?
god.
What are you drunk? Probably gonna pull her out and give her the old walk the line, balance on one foot, speak the
Goodness.
alphabet backwards. Put your arms out and touch your nose. The classic sobriety tests. But yeah,
She's
you
probably
soon
got it down packed.
you soon leave that little hubbub behind you, and you coast to the two vertical, like telephone pole sized struts with a sign across joining them that says Rainbow Ranch, and a driveway that you would drive right between these poles, right under this Rainbow Ranch sign, to go on to the property proper of this horse ranch.
Hmm. The rain this So the ranch itself is like a horse ranch.
It is a horse ranch. I've just shared an image with you.
Oh, I see it now. Yay.
It's very big.
That's a really big map.
Oh God, they could be anywhere.
Are we coming in from the top?
Yep.
Okay. Oh boy. That's huge.
You're coming down this way.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm, I'd like to. use this arrow a little bit. I'm having a hard time getting over and moving the head of said map. Why is that? I guess I can move it with the handle not at the arrowhead, which is good enough for me. Yeah, you're kind of driving down this way and
Okay.
into the driveway. But I thought I should be able to sort of grab this. It lets me move. Oh, there. It's kind of persnickety, but there's an entrance, kind of right there.
Mm. And there's a gate. Is it open?
Yeah,
Or is there nothing stopping us from just driving in?
just your common sense.
Let's see. Okay. Well, this seems to be the place.
Yeah,
We're looking for
the
the
Rainbow Ranch.
guy with the lady from the pizza barn.
Right.
Oh boy, there's a lot of ground to cover,
So Kelly
guy.
Kelly King was the young ETU freshman from Boston. Pale skin,
Mhm.
just a
Mhm.
sprinkle of freckles, but otherwise sort of alabaster complexion, long, straight red hair, usually tied back in a ponytail. She is the young woman that went missing a year ago to the day. Um,
Hmm.
They left the car too, didn't they?
no,
Mm,
not that you're
no, they
aware.
drove off because we couldn't find them back at the pizza barn. They left through the back, and then they never came back.
And the young woman that left with Mickey, come here, Sam, was named Naomi Kendall. Come here, Sam.
Mm.
So the sort of grayish is the roadway. The sort of tan colored road system is for a horse. It's like horse trail. It's like dirt road. You could probably get a vehicle down those roads, but generally it's for the horses.
Okay.
I was going to say horses or
Yeah.
farm vehicles.
If you can espy those parking spaces, then it'll be readily apparent to you sort of
Hmm.
Okay.
where you can drive and where you would not. So there's
As
Hmm.
we're
road,
driving
road
down there,
here, road here, road here.
do we see anything that looks like a main house?
You do.
Are any of the lights on?
The main house is there, and yeah, there's some lights on. There's some cars parked out front. You can imagine most of them would be ranch types of trucks, 3/4 ton, half tons, maybe a 2 or 3 horse trailers, sort of parked with the what are they called? Like the shims that you put next to the wheel to keep them from rolling. Whatever those little triangular uh,
Ah.
docks or chocks maybe. Yeah,
I don't know what they're called.
I think they might be called chocks. I don't know. We'll call it that for now,
Hmm.
or we'll call them the little triangular shims that you use to keep stuff from rolling. A lot of trees here, and this large building here is quite obviously a barn, and you can see there are other buildings um,
From the
around that
information
look like
that
stables
that
here.
Erica got, was Mickey a worker at the ranch, or did they did it sound like he was the owner?
All outward appearances are
Mm.
that he is not the owner. You would think
Okay.
the owner would appear to be perhaps more genteel in upbringing. He had the
My
he
parents own the feed store. I know.
yeah he
I
had the
know some of these owners.
he had the appearance of someone who makes a living through hard work and labor, physical labor.
Okay, so chances are he would not be at the main house then. He would be living either on one of the ranch property houses for
Hmm.
employees
Yeah,
or in a cowboy quote situation,
yeah.
lodging.
This area here is like an open area for the horses to exercise, as is this. Some well manicured trees, of course. It's a nice, well kept, beautiful piece of property. The trees planted just so for ambiance, shade, privacy to a degree, as there are sort of properties on either side that are similar. And eh, I guess the word sculpted comes to mind. It's beautiful property. And yeah, I mean, it
Mm,
probably hear an occasional neigh or whinny.
all these horses.
Well, judging by what the fact that he left with the woman, do we hear any other type of sound?
Hmm.
Oh,
No, you don't. I think that's the manor house down where the arrow is pointing
Yeah,
now. The other is a large barn for like indoor training. So as you
yeah,
drive by it, you can
that
just
makes sense.
imagine that it's packed earth and straw on the ground. That other large, sort of dark brown building
Hmm.
right there. So there's your manor house. But yeah, the lights are on, and there are your cars, trucks, trailers parked in, perhaps just about 25% of the parking spaces that are indicated.
maybe we should check the manor house first.
Maybe. It couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Does it look like anyone's walked through here recently?
Shep, do you want to park, or are you just driving by?
I I think I'm going to go with the theory that we are looking for the party that's supposed to be happening out down this road. So let's just
All
drive.
right. This is our alibi, I see. Okay.
Okay.
We're not nerds. We are out here having a social life.
Well, to be fair, Sophia has a social life.
Yeah.
A little bit of one. Occasionally. When I remember it.
Once in a while.
All right. I'm going to pull up the combat tracker. Not because you're in combat, because it just makes it easier to manage
Of
the
course.
tokens.
He doesn't believe that we have a social life.
And you have to sort of zoom in. I put
Oh, I
a
see.
little eensy weensy um, Ava, and an eensy weensy,
Smaller than usual.
yes, even smaller if possible. Oh, Sophia and a Shep. I certainly don't mind making them just a little bit bigger to make them just a little bit easier to visualize at a scaled in type of scale. But sure, park your truck there and be standing. Sophia, you wanted to do some tracking, maybe? I think you were
Maybe
asking about
make an attempt.
foot.
Like, did anyone?
Mm.
Yeah, if anyone's like walked through here recently. I mean, there's like dirt trails and stuff. I'm assuming.
Tiny
There are.
man feet.
Tiny man. Yeah.
Perhaps accompanied by a tall lady feet.
Yeah, this has sort of that, what's it called, crusher run, sort of that ground up pebbly substance over packed earth. And you can tell that it's well maintained but still well traveled, as there are a lot of ruts that would be left by, trucks and trailers and the occasional motorcycle, slowly maneuvering, sort of circumnavigating the entirety of this property. From where you are here, you really don't see any of those walking paths or the paths where they would slowly ride horseback between buildings here and
Mm.
about. Um, you hear a sounds like Garth Brooks coming from that manor house. Ain't going down until the sun ain't going down until the sun comes up. Ain't going down until I get enough. Something like that.
At
Good
least it's not
frolicking,
when the thunder
rollicking,
rolls.
rousing. Yeah, it might be on the
That
soundtrack.
that sounds like the party.
Sounds like the party. Oh,
Okay, you all hear the door slam and you hear a crunch, 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 crunch. I'm going to put you all kind of
no.
hiding up here.
Yes,
You're
please.
not up in a tree. You're using the tree for cover.
We are one with the tree. We are the tree.
I am the tree. It's embodying my squirrel girl here.
Still hate the tree.
Still
I no
hate the
longer
tree.
fear it, but I still there's dislike.
Fear turned into anger.
This particular tree gave you just the right degree of cover, just when you need it. So it's hard not to have a little grudging admiration for this tree.
Goddamn tree.
No, you can't burn this one.
Maybe later.
I'm sorry. Please don't pull out the lighter.
Yeah,
I have such great fire. Yeah,
thought I had
But do you remember the word?
I do. I remember the word.
We have 2 wizard friends now.
Wrote it
I'm
down and everything.
I'm no wizard. I need to become a wizard with the rest of them.
We need to find your We need to find your sorting hat.
I I need to find my magical item.
This guy looks like a cowboy comes walking out and he goes to one of the trailers and he's got a clipboard. And to all appearances, it would seem that he is preparing to do a little traveling. It looks like he is. So he starts his truck and he turns the lights on and he's walking around it. And it looks like he's checking tire pressure. It looks like he is uh, sort of tapping the lights and seeing that everything is in good working order. He's writing some numbers down, possibly uh, his odometer reading. He's looking at something that you can't quite see that's in the back of this bed of this pickup truck, and he's checking off items on that clipboard.
Guys,
He
what
slides
if
Yeah.
she's
behind.
in the truck?
He slides behind the wheel of the car, the wheel of the truck, the driver's side,
What?
and he revs the engine like once or twice. Then he turns it off. He gets out and he shuts the door. He's looking under the like the engine compartment. He's got a flashlight and he's poking it up underneath. Um, maybe looking for a ruptured brake line or any oil or fluid puddles in this crunchy gravel.
Quite the routine.
And then
Oh my god.
he comes out and he trudges back towards the manor house.
And
He's
he
got
was
that.
checking another truck, not uh one of the trucks in in the parking lot.
Chef's truck was about 3 away from this one, and he didn't really
Okay.
pay it much mind. The only thing about Shep's truck is it's probably in better condition than a lot of these because it just recently got a sort of a beauty overhaul of sorts. But this guy, and he has the sort of bandy-legged walk that you would classify him as probably a rodeo performer of some type, maybe someone born and bred around horses. Just that sort of stride that he takes.
Hmm.
Cowboy boots scuffing some of the pebbles as he goes around the corner. And real briefly, you hear the Garth Brooks clearly as a door opens, letting that music sort of filter out, and it quickly shuts.
Quite a party. Go.
You don't. You'd imagine you'd hear people whooping and whistling and cat calling and woo wooing, but
Is that
no,
down south of us
none of that.
too?
Aside from the music,
Huh.
really, really kind of quiet.
Maybe that's not the party.
Maybe that's not where we're supposed to go.
I mean, there was music, so, party equals music. But then where is all the other people?
Is it perhaps to drown out whatever really is happening in there? Could there be shenanigans afoot?
Or is it just a bunch of boring old cowboys?
I run a shenanigan-free game. It couldn't possibly be shenanigans.
I don't believe that. I do not.
Not once. Well, we are here by these trees. He was looking over a particular truck. Just, I wonder why he was checking his truck out. Is there, uh,
Could be normal truck stuff, or he could be working with the leprechaun.
It could be a beehive. We've seen that before.
is there? I mean, I would be willing to go look at the truck myself to see everything that he was looking at. And I don't know if he was just checking to see if something was like good to go, or if he was looking to see if there was something that should not be there.
Sure, make a stealth roll.
Wish me luck, friends.
I'm going with you.
Don't
Gonna
stealthing
help.
it up.
I'm helping.
Crunch,
Wait.
crunch, crunch, crunch.
That was
Crunch,
not
crunch,
good.
crunch, crunch,
Come
crunch,
on,
crunch, 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 crunch.
use a penny for that. That's better. Taking
Success. It's hard. It's hard, right? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Walking over
Little
this gravel
bit.
quietly. Yeah, yeah. As you get over there, you see because this is not a solid wall of obscuring trees. They're uniform and immaculately maintained, but you can see through them. You see a truck pull up because the spot, this sort of the headlights illuminate the area where you are briefly. You duck around the other side of it. It's not an exceptionally thick trunk, but there's enough certainly to obscure yourself. And it shuts, idles for a second, and probably playing some Patty Loveless, and The ignition shuts off. The lights
Hmm.
turn off. And yeah, in the back of that truck, you see all of the implements that you would associate with moving horses from place to place. Folded tarps, bungee cords, those thick canvas straps, and those sort of iron or steel ratchet devices that you can
Mm.
tighten down stuff. Some tools, um,
Mm.
a broom, a couple shovels, a couple of toolboxes, a 5-gallon thermos container laying on its side, um, some tack and harness. You do see that there
Cool.
are some wisps of straw in the back of this truck, but there is not a bale of hay in the back of this truck.
Hmm.
That's not a lot going on in there.
Okay.
The person that was driving this truck comes walking down like this. You duck into that row of trucks, I imagine. And Sophia, I see that you made a stealth roll as well. So I'm happy to put you sort of down there as well. But yeah, just sort of, he's whistling probably the last few bars of that Patty Loveless song. And, you know, I'm not going to say
It's
he
another
disappear.
cowboy.
He doesn't disappear from view in like a mysterious way, but, you know, walks through and you get a glimpse of him as he nears the manor house, opens the door, Garth Brooks filters out for a moment, and then the door shuts. And again, you don't hear any kerfuffle from inside.
While they're
Mm.
doing that, I want to see if I can get in touch with Kelly again.
Spirit -2. I was going
Okay.
to give you a -4, but I think a -2 due to you being psychically sensitive.
I will Benny that. And no, that's a that. Oh wait, -2. Yeah, that would just be a 3. So I will Benny it again. There we go.
Hmm. That that was an expensive use of Benny's.
Yeah, but I really want to see if she can help guide guide me to the right place here.
Talking about Phil Cho and some of the artwork that he provides through the Deviant Art website. This is just a smattering, just a taste. Let's see. Just looking for someone, just a facsimile of how I would think Kelly King to have appeared when she was alive. I like her. Calendar. Huh. Must have hit a button by mistake.
So, guys, when did we wander into Giant World?
Giant world?
Look at these other tokens compared to us.
Oh, I've got you. I've got you control
We are the
mouse wheeled
tiniest.
a little bit larger, just because scale doesn't matter so much here. I wanted to give you an idea of what the
Yeah.
property layout size is.
No, I just actually looked over at the two cowboys. I was like, wow.
Those are some big boys.
The spectral image of a very sad, beautiful young woman appears. It would seem that her connection with this uh, prime world is stronger here than it was sort of back at the pizza barn, for example.
Yeah. Kelly,
She looks at
should we
you with a forlorn expression.
where should we be looking? Can you point us in the right direction?
She raises a pale arm, her finger pointing in that direction.
Hmm.
So ship will do the psst, psst.
I mean, while we were over here by the truck, was there anything kind of funny with it? The whole point of sneaking over here was to check out the truck.
It looks like a truck that is preparing to take a journey. It looks like a truck that has been outfitted with all the accoutrements that you would use when you're going on the road with horses or other types of livestock.
Ready for a road trip?
Possibly so. You can see
Okay.
it's an older model truck, one that you don't have to have the ignition on to see how full the gas tank is. And you can see that it's been topped off.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, there's a folded road map of Oklahoma, like one of those Rand McNally maps that you can never get folded once you open it up. Sort of on the car seat, kind of on the passenger side.
Okay. Well, it looks like this guy is getting ready to go somewhere with a bunch of horses. I think he's doing a transport job and probably getting just the last night of partying in before he's off.
Chef, that nine,
Nothing stands out.
that nine is a success with a raise. That roll was certainly not a gimme, and you did expend some precious resources. Let me see what our Benny situation is. I may have forgotten how bad of me. I may have forgotten to reset them, so I will do so now, just so we start off on an even playing field. And Shep, I think I'll steal two of yours.
Okay.
I believe you used two.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good for me. Not so
We
much.
also
Not so
we
much.
also used a Betty.
Yeah, I used one.
See, I wasn't going to snitch on y'all.
Honesty is the best policy.
We try to stay honest around here.
Ah, just because you're so honest, and because
We get a Betty for being honest.
Just because.
I mean, Sophia has so many.
just because. Because so far you're
We work on the honor system around here.
being exceedingly cautious and careful and not making any rash moves. And because it's been a while since we played, I deducted the bennies that have been used, and I gave each of you one more. I thought this was a heck of good roll here. Shep, you see 7 other spirits sort of like stepping out from behind the trunks of some of these trees, or in a ghostly way floating down from the trees' sort of upper limbs. These are all young women between 14 and 24. These women are dressed in a manner leading you to believe that they are not all from this current time.
Ooh.
Like if you see sort of the TV show Happy Days, for example, the manner of dress for a young woman is quite different from what you would see today. Go back 20 years before that. Again, the shoes, the hairstyles, the manner of clothing is different. And make a smarts roll. And I'll tell you the earliest. Yeah. They're not all dressed like today's young women.
I mean, do I see anybody in a full hoop skirt and bonnet?
No, you do not.
Okay. Because that would probably
doesn't go
be
quite
the
back
earliest.
to Little House in the Prairie.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, anything after that, I probably wouldn't stand out as much to Shep. So.
Yeah. They all have a similar forlorn expression. They are sad.
I look around at them and I go, he has another. Would
Their
you
link
like
is more
to help?
tenuous, but the spectral image of Kelly King nods sadly, and again points in that direction. Now these young women, they're not in a line, they're not in a ring around you. They just sort of, wherever they appeared, that's sort of where they lit. So there may be 3 clustered together and then one by herself.
Maybe if we can help this young lady, all you people can get a bit of revenge on your own, some justice.
Looks like they're having a hard time struggling to remain as apparitions, and one by one they fade away into nothingness. The spirit of Kelly King being the last one to fade. She, right before she vanishes, her expression changes to one that you may classify as defiant. This happened in, a matter of moments. This did not take long at all.
So again, I'll just go, psst, psst, girls.
Yeah. I unlocked tokens. I think you can.
Hey,
Move
I'm gonna go back. What's up?
there.
What did you find?
Follow after.
Kelly says she's that way.
You
Okay.
you get the
Let's
distinct
get him.
odor of some sort of delicious stew wafting from the direction of that manor house. It smells really good.
Ooh, some
You
soup.
just imagine big chunks of beef and onions and celery, black pepper sprinkled upon it.
It's not where the party is. I have to focus.
Big old piece of sourdough bread next to it. Buttered
Is the smell of soup coming from the direction that Shep pointed at, or from south of us?
from
I
south.
should have eaten more pizza.
Sophia,
Hmm?
focus.
I
Because
don't know. I drank a lot, and I really should have eaten more pizza. We should have like
No.
taken a whole box of pizza with us
I mean,
Oh
before we
no.
left.
do you really want to party with old cowboys?